Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to explore stories that really make you think, looking beneath the surface, trying to connect the dots. And today we're delving into something incredibly profound. It's about love, about loss, devastating loss, actually, and that universal search for answers when tragedy hits. This is a very personal story of family, faith, and losing a young life, all seen through this really intricate lens of karma and rebirth.
That's right. And the material we're working from today is, well, it's quite moving. It's a case study sent in by someone who follows the DMC, the Dhamma Media channel. She was looking for spiritual understanding, really trying to make sense of her family's experiences, especially after such a significant event. It's a powerful thing, seeking truth like that amidst sorrow.
Absolutely. So our mission today for you listening is to unpack this really layered story. We'll look at the different lives involved, the heartbreaking details of the loss, and then explore the spiritual insights offered by these ancient teachings. Insights that try to explain what seems, unexplainable. Okay, so let's get into it. We really start with the listener herself, living in Colorado. Her own path into seeking spiritual answers, particularly through the DMC program, kind of sets the stage for everything else. She mentioned that at one point she'd actually considered suicide. A very human response, sadly, when things feel overwhelming. But then she found DMC, and she described it as finding light. It taught her that you don't just run from problems, you have to resolve them at their source, by understanding the law of karma, this whole balance of merit and demerit.
Yeah, and what's really compelling there is how that understanding of karma totally shifted her perspective. From wanting to escape to wanting to address the root cause. It's a core Buddhist idea, isn't it? That our actions, thoughts, words, deeds have consequences that ripple out, shaping our present and our future. It offers this powerful way to navigate suffering, suggesting there's always an underlying reason and maybe a path forward.
It really does make a difference. And this framework, this idea of karma, extends to her whole family. It's like this rich tapestry. Let's start with her maternal grandparents. They were described as, well, pretty well off, very charitable and deeply devout, always praying, going to the temple, offering food to monks, just consistently doing good things. Her grandfather was a traditional doctor, helped kids use herbal remedies, very compassionate. He was also a lay leader at the local temple, always there on holy days. And both of them passed away peacefully, around 80. Lives well lived, it sounds like. Then there's her father. He was Chinese, a rice trader in Thailand. His personality was quite different, hot-tempered, easily angered, and also a womanizer. He and her mother split up when the listener was about 10. He remarried, had more kids. But interestingly, despite all that, he always made morning alms offerings. That's a big merit-making act. Didn't go to temples much otherwise, though. He even became a monk for 3 months, dedicating the merit to his own deceased mother. Another significant act.
He died at 89 from emphysema linked to heavy smoking, a clear physical cause and effect there. Her mother, now she was different again, always charitable, known for being generous. She actually lived at a temple for a while in Thornbury, really immersed herself in practice before moving to America later on. And she passed away very peacefully in her sleep at 76, no prior illness. Seems like a reflection of a life with, a lot of merit and inner calm.
It's such a fascinating family picture, isn't it? You see these very different karmic paths all woven together. You've got the devout grandparents reaching high heavenly realms, the mother achieving something similar. But then the father, despite doing good things like almsgiving and ordaining, still faces consequences from his anger, his other actions. It shows it's not just a simple calculation, good deeds here, bad deeds there. It makes you think about the intention, right? The purity behind the actions and how they all weigh in on that karmic scale, affecting not just this life, but where we go next.
Yeah, it definitely adds layers. Karma's clearly not straightforward. Now, this next part, this is where the story becomes truly heartbreaking, and maybe the most confusing part, the life and loss of her son. His story, on the surface, it seemed like the perfect life, which makes his sudden death just so much harder to grasp. He was born 9 years after his sister, and Lister's husband, his father, he really believed his own father had been reborn as this boy. That's a common hope, isn't it? Seeing a loved one return. The listener actually quit her job to raise him. He had an upbringing where he, quote, never knew hardship. Sheltered, really. No chores like washing dishes or vacuuming. His parents did everything. A comfortable world. And he's incredibly bright, got school awards every single year, 6th through 11th grade, just excelled. Ranked #1 in computer science, his favorite subject. Clearly had a talent there. Described as quiet but cheerful. Lots of friends, never into bad stuff like drinking or smoking. Just by all accounts, an ideal child. Friends loved him. Teachers loved him. He was even elected student president 2 years running, 11th and 12th grade. Shows character. And tough, too. He broke his arm skiing once and didn't even tell his mom. Needed a cast for 6 months when they finally found out. Just a shining star. And then The unimaginable, September 1st, 2004. The listener goes to Thailand alone for her stepbrother's wedding, plans to stay 4 weeks. But just 2 weeks in, she gets this urgent call from her husband. Their son's been in a bad car accident. He's unconscious. That flight home must have been agony. She lands in America. Her husband picks her up. But her daughter isn't there. That must have felt wrong. Instead, he takes her straight to the police station. And there, a female officer gives her the news that just shatters everything. Your son is dead. A car accident story. It's just a way to soften the blow initially. Later, her husband had to tell her the real harrowing truth. Their son had committed suicide. He hanged himself.
It's the ultimate paradox, isn't it? And it shows so clearly that what we see, the grades, the popularity, the seemingly easy life, it often hides the inner reality, the deeper karmic currents. It's the question everyone asks hearing this. How could this young man, the ideal child with so much potential, reach such utter despair? This is where those spiritual explanations start to offer a different kind of understanding.
And the trigger, the root of that despair, it turned out, was heartbreak. Intense heartbreak over an American girlfriend who, the source says, had many partners. He, though, was completely devoted, deeply in love, but also possessive. It was his first love. That intensity, that possessiveness made things very fragile for him. The girlfriend couldn't handle it, apparently. She confided in a school teacher. And then the school stepped in, forbade them from being near each other, even contacting each other, cut off his connection to his first love, just like that. And all this profound sadness, this turmoil, he kept completely secret from his parents, carrying that weight all alone. The night he died. It's tragic how it played out. He called his girlfriend over 20 times, desperate, no answer. Then he sent her this email, heartbreaking, talking about his pain, wishing her well with someone new, asking her to remember him and the rings he'd given her. And he ended it with, I bid farewell to the pain of this world. So final. Chilling. His father checked on him later. The son had said he was going to sleep after being on the computer and found him. They found one last message on the computer, this one for his family. Thank you for everything you've given me. I never said I love you to my parents, but in my heart, I love everyone. I love my parents and sister very much. I'm sorry for disappointing everyone. He passed away September 19th, 2004, just shy of 17.
Quietly. That last message. Sorry for disappointing everyone. It's just gut-wrenching. You feel the pressure he must have felt, the isolation, keeping that despair hidden. It's awful. This whole sequence, the intense love, the intervention, his final actions, it really shines a light on the power of emotional karma, doesn't it? And how these deep-seated patterns can just surge back with such devastating force.
It really does. So, okay, from the spiritual perspective, what does it all mean? The listener obviously had so many questions about her family, where they went, and this huge mystery around her son. She sought answers through these teachings. Let's look at what was revealed about where her family members ended up. It gives incredible insight into how their lives played out karmically. Her maternal grandparents, the devout, charitable ones, they were reborn as celestial beings, devas, in Dawoodung heaven. Phase 3, specifically. Now, Dawoodung heaven, for anyone unfamiliar, it's a high celestial realm. Think divine pleasures, long lifespans. They were in adjacent golden mansions. And this amazing outcome was directly linked to the shared merits they'd built up together through all their Buddhist practices. So now they're enjoying divine treasures, a direct result of their virtue. Her father, though the rice trader, generous but also hot-tempered, his path was different. He was reborn as a middle-level Yaka Deva. That's a type of powerful nature spirit, often associated with the Katumaharachika heaven. Katumaharachika is a lower heavenly realm than divining. His rebirth there was credited to his merits, the alms, the ordination, but mixed with the karma from his anger and other issues. It really shows how mixed actions lead to a mixed result. Not all good, not all bad. And her mother, the one who was always charitable, spent time at the temple. She was reborn as a goddess, also in Dawoodung heaven, phase 3. And her golden mansion was right next to her own parents, the listener's grandparents. This was down to her strong merits and that powerful family bond. Shows how connections can even influence where you end up in the heavens. Then there's the listener's husband's father. He ended up as a tree deity, a Rukadeva, living in a forest. These are nature spirits tied to trees, often resulting from more traditional kinds of merit-making. And so the belief that he was reborn as the listener's son, that was incorrect, according to this insight. He's actually in a golden mansion at treetop level, plenty of divine food, no hardship, a peaceful rebirth from his own good deeds. Now for her son, his karma, his rebirth, the explanation here introduces a really key concept. His suicide, driven by that heartbreak, was attributed to a past life pattern. The term used is fangkao. This is crucial. It's like a deep-seated karmic habit, an inclination carried over from before. Apparently, in a previous life, he had also committed suicide by hanging, also because of disappointment and love. So this pattern, this fan cow, it just compelled him toward the same action in this life when similar circumstances arose, like a groove he fell back into. But importantly, his good karma, especially for making donations, Dana giving in that past life, that's what led to him being born into a good family, being so intelligent in this life. After he died, he went to Yamaloka, which is like an underworld realm for judgment. But because he hadn't committed any other major evil deeds, and because he could recall his own merits, and because of the merits his mother dedicated to him, he was immediately reborn as a human. That quick rebirth is a big deal. It shows the strength of his overall good karma and the real power of dedicating merit. The listener also wondered if he'd sent messages. The answer was clear. No, he hadn't sent anything. He's moved on. And her own anguish, hearing footsteps after the anniversary, the insight was that her son wasn't angry with her. His actions were purely driven by his own personal karma, that resurfacing past life pattern about love troubles when it got the chance. It had nothing to do with her being away. Those footsteps, they were seen as a manifestation of her own deep attachment and longing. Understandable, but a projection, because he's already been reborn. The advice, incredibly hard I'm sure, was to try and forget this matter for her own peace and let him move on.
It's really fascinating, isn't it, how these specific karmic imprints, the fan cow, like the suicide pattern linked to love, can just echo across lifetimes. It's not just memory, it's like this ingrained tendency, a sort of karmic reflex, guiding reactions when similar situations pop up, really shows the deep roots of karma. And then the speed of his rebirth, partly thanks to his mother's dedicated merit, it speaks volumes about how these things work, the power of that parental love, that focused merit, to really influence the next step in someone's journey.
Okay, let's unpack this even more because it gets deeper. Beyond the individual karma, there's this incredibly profound connection, linking the listener's own past actions to what happened to her son, a shared karmic story. It was revealed that part of the listener's karma contributing to this loss came from a past life. Back then, she lived in an agricultural society, and she sold many calves away from their mothers. This act of separating mother cows from their young apparently reinforced the old karma of her son. It somehow strengthened that existing pattern in him, contributing to his tragic end. That's a really profound connection to consider. That an action like separating animals could ripple out and intensify the karmic situation of someone you're deeply tied to. And the connection between them is incredibly deep. The teaching stated they have been mother and son died together and been reborn together countless times in Sansara. So as being that endless cycle of birth, death, rebirth. So this isn't just one lifetime. It's this enduring bond woven through countless lives, highlighting how deep family love can be, even across cycles of suffering. Now, about meditation and seeking answers. It was explained that if the listener practices meditation seriously and reaches a state called Dhammakaya, the body of Dhamma, a deep realization she could potentially visit her grandparents up in Dawadung heaven. But because her son is already reborn as a human, constantly lamenting him is not useful. Thinking of him as natural, of course, that love doesn't just vanish. But the advice was to pair that thought with a reflection that everyone dies, to try and find peace, some detachment from the intense grief. And yes, dedicating merit, especially through Dhammakaya practice, will still benefit him. It will increase his happiness, even now in his current human life. That's a powerful message of ongoing connection and care. Lastly, there was a note about the family's merit-making with their spiritual community. They've been donors, supply troops, as it was put, but their support was described as intermittent. Sometimes they contributed, sometimes they didn't. That consistency, or lack of it, also affects how strongly that positive karmic energy builds up over time.
Tying it all together, the big message really seems to be about this incredibly intricate web of karma. It's not just our own actions affecting us. Our actions, even things that seem minor or unrelated, like separating those calves, can send out ripples. They can unintentionally reinforce or influence the karmic patterns of people we're deeply connected with across lifetimes. It's a powerful reminder of how interconnected we all are, how subtly our lives intertwine through cause and effect. And it really underlines why that consistent, unwavering effort in doing good, making merit, is so important, not just for us, but for everyone linked to us.
So where does this leave us? We've walked through an incredibly painful, personal story, yes, but in doing that, we've uncovered some amazing insights into how karma and rebirth are thought to work. These enduring family bonds stretching across lifetimes. This deep dive offers a kind of spiritual logic, a framework for events that might otherwise seem just random, cruel, or meaningless. It suggests there's an underlying order, even if it's incredibly complex and hard to see.
It really does. This story highlights that cyclical nature of existence, the huge impact of our intentions, and how truly every choice, every actual, big or small, creates ripples way beyond just this moment or even this life. We saw those detailed karmic outcomes for each family member, divas and golden mansions, nature spirits, immediate human rebirth, and specific, sometimes startling answers about the sun's death and rebirth. It's a clear demonstration of how these Buddhist teachings aim to offer comfort and clarity when facing life's biggest mysteries.
Which brings us to a really practical point from all this, the emphasis on consistent, wholehearted merit-making. The specific guidance given was to set a firm intention to build merit fully in every good deed, and to aspire to reach Phra-Nibbana Nirvana, the end of suffering and rebirth within a specific spiritual community, the Siraburi Wang Bunpaset, to avoid future separations. It's basically a call for conscious, ongoing spiritual effort, not just for yourself, but for the lasting benefit of everyone you're connected to.
And that leaves a really interesting question for you listening right now. Thinking about this intricate dance of karma, rebirth, our deep connections, and how every action matters, how might understanding these ideas change the way you look at your own relationships, your own journey through life, knowing that every choice, every intention really does send ripples out far beyond what we can immediately see?